Pope Francis is being called a humble and modest man focused on helping those in need. So what does that say about the direction of the church? With me now, Monsignor Anthony Figueiredo of the Pontifical North American College. He's a CBS News papal consultant. Also Delia Gallagher, senior editor of Inside the Vatican magazine and a CBS News Vatican consultant. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
We were here together last night when the white smoke came up. It was such an exciting moment, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I think when you were asking what does it do for the direction of the church now that we've had a little bit of time to digest it and think about it, one of the things that strikes me is we were saying that this Pope Benedict resigned because of frail health and age. He said so himself, that he just didn't have the strength to keep up. And so we said, well, the cardinals are going to elect somebody who's younger and who's more vigorous and who's had experience at the Vatican. And instead we've got a pope who's older, who's possibly not in the best of health with one lung, and who doesn't have Vatican experience. So, you know, what does that suggest? Well, it suggests that maybe some of the other qualities that we were talking about, his help with the poor, his compassion, and so on, were considered more important.
And where he's from Latin America, where nearly 500 million Catholics live. Monsignor, what about that? Cardinal George has said this was a surprise to him. It appears he was not really on many people's short list.
It's interesting. Pope Francis's episcopal motto, Nora, is lowly and yet chosen. So I think he was the most surprised of all. But he's lived that in his life through his physical suffering. Being the son of Italian immigrants, he actually goes out to the people. He chose to live in a small apartment rather than an episcopal palace. He chose to take the subway rather than have a chauffeur. He even chose to cook his own meals. And so not only is he preaching by word, but by his very life. St. Francis said the same. He used to tell his followers, go out, preach, and if you must, use words. Mm-hmm. The first thing that really counts is the example of our lives.
Yes, and you brought with you a medal that I understand that Cardinal Bergoglio, you can hold it up, gave you. And what does this mean, this medal?
It's a very special medal because it's Our Lady Undoer of the Knots. And Cardinal Bergoglio gave that to me some years ago, which was very special because he said to me, hold on to that medal, and Our Lady will help you undo the knots in your life. What are the knots in our life? Sometimes physical suffering, sometimes family problems, sometimes difficulties at work. Now he has difficulties in the Curia to evangelize the world. That's why he went to St. Mary Major this morning, I think, really to pray to the Virgin Mary to help him continue undo the knots.
So Delia, he is a first in many ways, the first Francis, the first Jesuit as well. What does that mean? That has surprised a lot of people, and there's going to be a lot of discussion about a Jesuit as Pope.
Well, just because traditionally, you know, the Jesuits have been such a powerful group within the Catholic Church, and it was always thought that those who belong to kind of orders of the Catholic Church, like the Jesuits, Dominicans, and so on, would never really become Pope. But there's nothing to stop it, and certainly, you know, I think they're quite happy that they've got their representative now in the papacy. And the other thing that I think he showed us already is that he's got good instincts, because everybody was talking about the idea of having two popes, and how are we going to deal with two popes? Well, as soon as he came out on the balcony, instinctively he sort of said, let's pray for Pope Emeritus Benedict. So I think he already knows how to handle that situation, which is another first.
Oh, Monsignor Figueiredo and Delia Gallagher, it's been such a pleasure covering this event with both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.